If you've ever found yourself thinking that, I want to do EC, but I don't have time, can you flip that on its head and say, I want to do EC. How can I make the time? What can I give up or change about my life or reconfigure in my schedule and my routine so that it is possible? You're in charge. You get to design your own life here. Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather, your EC Mama Bestie, and I teach you how you too can naturally potty train your baby from as early as birth using elimination communication. I'm going to show you exactly what it is, why you would want to do it, and how it is actually so much easier than you think. I post videos every Monday evening. Today, I want to share with you 5 common mindset issues that I see that are holding so many women back in both motherhood and EC. It's all part and connected. I'm going to go through these, and if any of these resonate with you, let me know. If you feel seen, please let me know. Shout it out in the comments. And also keep in mind that everything that I'm sharing here is something that I personally have struggled with as well and overcome to be where I am today. Don't feel like I'm just sitting here pointing fingers at everyone else and calling you out. I am really calling myself out, and I am speaking from a place of I've been here, it's tough, and also there's more to it than that. Number 1 is comparisonitis. This is when you are looking around at all the other mamas on Instagram, on YouTube, at the park, wearing their nice clothes with their perfect babies, with their gluten-free, organic, homemade muffins. I have a friend like this. She's wonderful, but also I don't bake that much. And you're just feeling like, oh, she's doing so much. I just don't know how I could ever be like her. I don't know how I could ever have, the perfectly clean house or the white furniture or time to compost or to have a garden or to take my kids to 17 different extracurricular activities or to do EC with my baby and not use diapers. It's overwhelming at times because we see other people doing what we perceive on the outside to be so much. And then we can just feel defeated before we even get started. And so I just want to remind you that you are actually really only seeing the outside. You're only seeing the surface level things. You're only seeing what they are choosing to show on the outside. And also, you're seeing what they prioritize. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about priorities in a minute. But just remember, we all have exactly the same amount of time in a day. And we don't all have the same amount of resources, and money does help with a lot of these things, but we all have the same amount of time, and the way that we choose to spend our time and use our time is going to reflect in the outcomes that we see. I just want to remind you that you get to choose what you want to prioritize and what you want to do with your family, with your life, with your home. And if you find yourself looking at other people, remember, first of all, that you're seeing the highlight reels. You're seeing the makeup lipstick version of them after they've come out of their house. You're not seeing what's going on behind closed doors. And I just want to remind you that everybody has their ick. Everybody has the stuff that they're hiding that they don't really want anyone else to see, that isn't the stuff they're publishing on stories or YouTube or walking out the door with. Just remember that you're in your own race and your only competition is yourself. You are the bar. You are the standard. Focus on yourself and what you can do for your family, and it's going to get a whole lot easier. Okay. Number 2, my favorite. It's too hard. Whatever it is, this idea that it's too hard, I can't do it. And I have heard everybody from my mother to my best friends say this about various things. Oh, you don't have time to wash cloth diapers. You're a working mom of 2. I could never do EC. I have 3 kids. I could never bake sourdough bread. I can't keep a starter alive. That's me. I've literally killed so many starters. It's not even funny. They get like the pink mold growing on them, and then, it's time to toss it. I went through a sourdough phase for a while, and I finally had to accept that that is just not the season of life I'm in right now. And I would rather prioritize growing a business, leaving my corporate job so that I can have more time with my family and more aligned impact with what I want to create in the world, and potty train my babies. So Sourdough had to wait. The garden had to wait this year, even though those are both things that I really want to do. I just can't do it right now, and that's okay. Remember that we get to choose our hard. If it's something that feels hard to you, ask yourself, why does that feel hard? Is it really that hard? Or have I just not tried it? Or is it something that I could give up something else in order to make more time for this thing if it's something that I really would like to have? I have to call out my son a little bit here, who's almost 4, and he is going through this phase right now where he's constantly telling me, Mama, I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that. Anything that is unfamiliar to him that he's never tried before, he sees it and he's like, no, I don't want that. I took him to a new church the other day, this weekend. We're trying to find a church home right now. And we've been to a lot of different places. And he's getting kind of frustrated about this. And I know that this is hard for him as a toddler, but we went here and he was like, I don't want to go in. I don't like it. How do you not like it? We've never even been. And he says the same thing about new foods that I make for him at home. I don't like it. And of course, I get frustrated in my rational brain. And I'm like, you've never tried it. How do you not like it? And oftentimes, if I can get him to try it or go into the church and try it out, he actually finds that he loves it. And it's so much better than he thought. Sometimes when we think in our mind, it's too hard, it's actually because it's unfamiliar. And if we can try it and we can put ourselves into that situation to give it a try 1 time, 2 times, and just try it on and see how it feels, we might be surprised that it's actually not nearly as hard as we thought it was. If you want to learn more about EC and you're just getting started, I do have a free quick start guide that you can download down below. Number 3, I don't have time. Oh man, this one I hear all the time. I said this a minute ago, but we all have the same amount of time. We get to choose how we use our time. And our lives, I'm not going to try to be morbid here, but our lives on earth are so short. And our time with our children as little babies, as young people, young humans, is so short. If you have a baby, you have seen how fast they grow. If you have more than one baby, you've probably noticed that all of them are growing so fast, and your youngest grows even faster than your oldest. It's wild. Somehow the laws of physics do not apply when you have more than one child. The thing is, we all have the same amount of time. And the problem is not that you don't have enough time, it's that you don't have your priorities aligned with your true desires. You have to decide, what am I going to prioritize and what am I going to let fall away in this season of my life? For me right now, the things that I'm having to let fall away are gardening, composting, baking sourdough bread, making snacks from scratch and not purchasing the things wrapped in plastic at the grocery store. I love zero waste. I love sustainability. I was all about bringing my own containers to the bulk section of Whole Foods, or even better, my local co-op grocery store, and refilling them and putting the little labels on and like handwriting bulgur wheat and going to check it out. I love zero waste, but in this season of my life where I have an almost 4-year-old, an almost 2-year-old, I'm pregnant with a third, I'm growing a business, I'm trying to figure out the money so that I can continue being self-employed and not have to go back to an architecture job. By the way, if you've ever tried to grow a business, this is some hard shit. It's all about our priorities. We get to choose our hard, what we're going to focus on in this season. I teach about elimination communication. I teach you why you would want to do this, the benefits of it for your children and for you. And I really believe that it's a great addition to your parenting toolbox if you want to have a strong connection with your baby. And if you choose not to do that, that's okay. I have many friends and family members who choose not to do EC, but what I value is educating people about it so that they know that it's an option. And then from there, they get to choose what they're going to prioritize. And you may not be able to prioritize EC in this season of your life if you have a lot of other things going on that would make that really difficult. Or maybe you want to try it part-time, but you can't do it full-time. All of that is okay. I'm here to give you the information so that you have the tools available to you if you want to pick them up and learn how to use them. But again, we all get to choose how to prioritize our time. That's up to us. That's the beauty of being human. It's a vast journey that you get to choose your own adventure. If you do want to try EC, you wish you had time to do EC. If you've ever found yourself thinking that, I want to do EC, but I don't have time, can you flip that on its head and say, I want to do EC. How can I make the time? What can I give up or change about my life or reconfigure in my schedule and my routine and my relationship to time and work, perhaps, so that it is possible? You're in charge. You get to design your own life here. If EC is important to you, I encourage you to think about how you can make it fit into your life instead of allowing the belief that I just don't have time to be the end of the sentence. Number 4, this one is my favorite because I hear it all the time. It is, well, my friends or my family did it this way, so that's fine. That's a really easy trap to fall into because as humans, we are social creatures. We rely so heavily on the approval and the experience of other people in our community, in our village. And if we have 4 aunts and a grandmother and 7 best friends who all use diapers with their baby and then potty train their toddlers at 2 or 3 years old, and they turned out fine, why would we want to do anything differently? Why would we upset the apple cart and try things a different way? And so it can be really, really tempting to fall into this social peer pressure thing of they did it this way, so there's no real reason I need to change. And if everyone else in my social circle has approved of this thing, then it must be fine. And sometimes that is a positive thing. And so we can have more positive behaviors with how we raise our children, such as having a more gentle parenting approach than perhaps our parents or our grandparents did, or spending more time with our children, or prioritizing connection over screen time, or choosing to breastfeed our children even in the face of heavy promotion of formula in the hospital. Whatever it is, peer pressure can be a really powerful and positive thing. It can keep us safe. But it also can have negative impacts when people are doing things that are harmful to children or others on a large scale. Look around at the system that we live in. There are a lot of ways that our current system is not helpful or kind or supportive to the vast majority of people. Sometimes it requires us to step out of the box and look at something objectively and decide, you know what? I'm not going to do it that way anymore. If I have generational trauma in my lineage and I see how my parents are treating me and are treating my children and how their parents treated them, I can say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to step outside of this path. I'm going to step outside of this lineage and I'm going to heal and I'm going to do things differently. And that applies to anything in our life, anything in our parenting journey and how we parent. And it applies to EC as well. A lot of people are really afraid to try EC because other people that they love and care about are very doubtful. They may say, oh, that's dangerous, or I didn't do that and you turned out fine, or you're going to harm your baby in some way because XYZ so-and-so said so. And a lot of the time, they don't really have any real data. They're just mostly spouting emotions. They're mostly spouting hearsay, and they're projecting something that they feel and they fear onto you. So it's really up to you to do your own research when it comes to new things like EC and to decide where you stand about it and to be courageous enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it this way because this is what I think is right and what I think is best for my child. And it's not a reaction to you. It's an expression of me and my choice. And stand strong in that and be able to say, I'm going to do it this way because this is my choice and this is what I value. And if you want to support me in this, I would love to help you and show you how and have you care for my child. And if you don't want to support me in this, that's okay. but I'm going to do it this way. Number 5, and this I think is perhaps the simplest and the most important one of all, it is I can't because blank. Everybody has excuses for everything under the sun. And I'm talking about EC and on this channel and these videos, but this really applies to anything in your life. It might be, I can't work out because excuses. I can't eat healthy because excuses. And this goes beyond, I don't have time, I don't have money, my family doesn't support it. This is like, if for any reason you find yourself blocking yourself from something that you want to do because your brain is trying to keep you safe by saying, I can't because reason, I want you to stop and recognize that the only thing standing in the way between you and your goals and what you actually want for yourself is making the decision to do it. If you decide to do something, anything at all, whether that's ECing your baby, whether that's breastfeeding your baby for however long you want to breastfeed your baby for, or it's getting in shape and feeling good about your body again, or it's leaving your job and starting that business that you've dreamed about. Absolutely anything and everything that anyone has ever achieved, it starts with the decision to do it. Period. I have seen this play out in my life over and over and over again, that when I stopped making excuses for why I couldn't do something, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. And I wrote it in my journal over and over and over again, and I put it in my calendar, and I got the coaching that was necessary to educate me on the things that I didn't know. And I had the hard conversation with my boss, and I invested money in myself that I didn't have yet. And all of the things that I've done just to be here today, filming this video for you at 1:30 p.m. on a Monday, instead of sitting in an office downtown somewhere, working for someone else's dream, is because of the decision that I made to be here. And I'm teaching you about EC because this is something that I value, and I'm really passionate about sharing with you so that you have the tools and the resources to be able to do it. And so if you want to do EC or do any of the things that I've listed out, anything that you can imagine, anything that you have on your vision board, it all starts with deciding to do it. And every action that is required to get you from where you are today to where you want to go is going to fall into place after that decision. All right. This video is getting a little bit long, but thank you so much for watching today. If anything resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. If there's something you think I missed that is holding people back from being the mother that they want to be, let me know. I would love to hear your perspective and hear from you as well. I post videos every Monday evening. So if you are liking what you see and you want to see more of it and you want to follow along, then be sure to hit that follow button, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.